All right, hello. I am here to talk about the health risks of polluted coastal waters. And my name is Rebecca Hale. The introduction to environmental justice, I'm just kind of giving a gist on what environmental justice is. From the EPA, the definition is environmental justice means the just treatment and meaningful involvement of all people, regardless of income, race, color, national origin, tribal affiliation, or disability, in agency decision-making and other federal activities that affect human health and the environment, so that people are fully protected from disproportionate and adverse human health and environmental effects and hazards, including those related to climate change, the cumulative impacts of environmental and other burdens, and the legacy of racism or other structural or systematic barriers, and that they have equitable access to a healthy, sustainable, and resilient environment in which to live, play, work, learn, grow, worship, and engage in cultural and subsistence practices. That is a quote from the EPA directly from their website for the definition of environmental justice. But the causes of environmental justices include historical and systematic factors, socioeconomic inequality, racial and ethnic discrimination. But the consequences of environmental injustices are health impacts, economic disparities, social and psychological effects, and environmental degradation. So for my EJ site profile, I'm basing it on Long Beach, California. No specific spot in Long Beach, but the coast of Long Beach, just not a specific neighborhood per se. The population of Long Beach is for 462,300 people. The median household income is $79,000. 15% of residents live below the federal poverty level. The racial and ethnic composition is 44% Hispanic, 27% white, 12% Black or African American, and 12% Asian. So my environmental justice assessment of coastal pollution in Long Beach, a quote that I found is low-income communities and communities of color in Long Beach are more likely to live in areas with poor air quality, in regions with little green space, and along the Los Angeles River Channel where the risk of urban flooding is expected to increase. So the disparities in exposure to coastal pollution is the industrial zones and marginalized community. You'll find that a lot in like Northeast Long Beach. Proximity to highways and ports. So that port where San Pedro is, and in northern Long Beach, you have that Los Angeles Channel. And then I talked about where that urban flooding is expected to increase. And then you do have that stormwater runoff and urbanization. That all comes with polluted water and all the pollutions that come down with that runoff. The health impacts on marginalized communities are respiratory illnesses and asthma. There's an extremely high asthma rate in the marginalized communities, especially in Northeast Long Beach, where they're put near a lot of the factories and industrial areas. The waterborne diseases and contaminants, and then a lot of mental health impacts. Then you have the linkages to environmental racism and social injustice, historical disinvestment and discrimination. There's a very large lack of political power and representation for a lot of those marginalized communities. And the economic inequality and access to resources is a really, really big one from where environmental racism links to social injustice. So the resistance that people are giving to environmental injustice, for an example, the Long Beach Environmental Alliance, or the LBEA, they're a grassroots organization. We talked about it in class. This organization is dedicated to advocating for environmental justice and sustainability in Long Beach. This is I believe, the alliance that is mostly women of color running the organization, but they engage in community organizing, education, advocacy campaigns to address local environmental issues, including air and water pollution, climate change, and environmental racism. Another example is the East Yard Communities for Environmental Justice, otherwise known as EYCEJ. The East Yard Communities for Environmental Justice is a community-based organization that works to address environmental health and justice issues in the LA area, including Long Beach. They focus on empowering low-income communities and communities of color to advocate for policies and practices that promote environmental equity and public health. And then the last but not least is the Green Long Beach Coalition. This is a really big coalition. They do a lot of amazing things. It's a community-led initiative. It promotes sustainability, environmental stewardship, green infrastructure in Long Beach. They do a ton with a lot of green infrastructure and promoting it. They collaborate with local residents, businesses, government agencies to implement projects and programs that enhances environmental quality, enhances green jobs, fosters community resilience, and it really teaches people about kind of that green movement. They do a lot of really cool things. So my take action plan is supporting environmental justice. And for, the Long Beach people that are dealing with this injustice, we need to advocate for policy changes and regulations to address the coastal pollution that's happening. And so since this is mainly based on coastal pollution, we need to strengthen environmental regulations, not only on the coastal pollution side, but also on the, just general air quality and quality of life that are given to these Long Beach citizens. Supporting water quality improvement programs, that's a really big one, and promoting sustainable transportation. As you know, buses are all around Long Beach, and so we need to make them as sustainable as possible for the environment. And then we have supporting community-based solutions in grassroots organizations, such as the one I had mentioned up here, the Long Beach Environmental Alliance. We need community engagement and empowerment. We need to teach people about the injustices that are happening and what we can do to make a change. And then we have environmental education and outreach, collaborative partnership, and that's just really educating as many people as possible. Then we do have promoting environmental justice, principles in urban planning and development, equitable land use planning, affordable housing and transit oriented development, environmental impact assessments. All environmental impact assessments have to be done, but most people don't realize that. And so I think educating people on making an EIA is a big deal. And here's everything that I used to reference about this video. Thanks.